Hey, my name's Ryan, and today I'm excited to jump into actually my first YouTube video with you guys. So I opened this channel with the pure intentions of, recording some of the stuff that I do, going over the gear that I've purchased, and sharing that information with the viewers. Because for me, I've been into hunting now for about 6.5 years. It is truly an addiction, and I think buying gear is part of that. I went down the path of purchasing gear to find out that it's not the best choice to purchase budget gear. And then I've gone down the rabbit hole of buying the most expensive gear. And in these videos, I'm about to share with you what I've discovered being an outdoorsman, focused on hunting and fishing and spending time in this amazing world that we live in. So today we're going to be going over something that is, an item that is super important when you're out there in the outdoors, and that is your boots, right? You got to start from the ground up. So for me, I've had about 3 different pairs of boots in the last 5 years. I started out with a basic pair. I think they were Under Armour. They did an okay job. I still have them, use them for shoveling snow. They're pretty decent, but they were quite heavy and didn't have all the features that I technically needed for the type of application I was using it for. Then I moved into my next pair of boots, which was the biggest investment I made in boots, and I think I spent around $600 on these boots. They were the Scarpa 8K HD boots, and they were made by Kuiu. They're an amazing boot. Couple learning experiences I had. Number one, I purchased the boots, shipped them to Canada from the US. I paid a duty. Great. But the downside was that I actually bought the boots, and when I got them, they were one size too small from my previous boots. So I had to go and send them back and purchase another pair. Long story short, those boots were great. They lasted me, I'd say, 3.5 years. I still have them. They're still a great boot for dry hunting season, maybe spending some time in the tree stand and stuff like that. But in terms of the waterproofness, they completely lost all ability to stop water from entering the boot. Now, this was a synthetic boot. The boot was built really well, had 0 break-in period, which I really loved. But the reality is on a synthetic boot, you only have so much lifespan to continue keeping them waterproof. And I've tried, all the recommended applications to keep them waterproof, and they just didn't seem to work. So today in this video, we're gonna go over my first impressions and the build quality of a boot called the Scarpa Kinesis Pro GTX. This is a full leather boot. I actually have it right here. This is what it looks like. So as you can see, full leather upper. It's got a rubber membrane attached to the sole. The sole on the boot, of course, is Vibram, which is one of the most recommended soles if you're going to be on any jagged surface or anything like that. It's got a nice high riser on the back here. And we're going to go over the overall first impressions, what it looked like to break them in, and all of that, because I think it's super important that you guys know that. So for me, the reason I picked this boot is I did a lot of reviews. Number one, people that had these swore by them, and they continued to purchase this type of boot moving forward. Number two, it's got a stiff sole. Okay, so rigidity wise, it is similar to my last boot, but this boot is designed to really take a beating. One thing that really drew me to this boot was a lot of the reviews said, if you're packing out a heavy load, this is a great boot for that because of the stiffness in the midsole. Have you ever been hiking, hunting, outdoors, and the bottom of your foot gets really tired? It's a clear indicator that the boot you're using is just too flexible and you need something a little stiffer. So this here for me is great on steep incline. Okay, it's gonna keep my foot safe and secure and lots of support in the ankle. But also another part that's important for me is that when I'm climbing on a side incline, that my foot's not moving around in the boot. So in this boot, some of the really cool features that I love is that they've used this system right here with these 3 lace loops on each side. Now, I'll put up a closer view of a video so that you can see. When you pull on these lace loops, it actually tightens from the bottom all the way up. So you get a firm connection to the foot based on the boot, okay? Now, break-in period on these was about 25 to 30 kilometers. It took me about that much time to break them in. I've had these boots now for about 2 months, and so far, so good. Out of the box, extremely comfortable. The material they're made out of is very soft on the back here, which I liked. I was running them really tight in the beginning just so I could get them heated up so they'd be a little bit more pliable. They're still very stiff, so I believe it's going to take quite a bit of time to get them to break down a little bit. But overall, so far, they've been great. I've done some creek crossings. My feet have stayed super comfortable. They're supportive. With the stiff midsole, you know, that's a huge reason for that. So let's talk about the pros and the cons, because I think that's a big one. They're built like a tank. Like, it's not a super light boot, but it is not too heavy as well. Extremely supportive and a lot of protection. As you can see, the boot itself is designed very well. Waterproof and breathability. Now, although it is waterproof and it does have some breathability with the Gore-Tex material on the inside, it's still going to be hotter, in my opinion, than a synthetic boot. Now, this is a non-insulated boot, okay? This is great for mid-season hunting. You know, if you're in anything that's below, say, -5, and you're gonna be sitting for a long period of time, you may not be super comfortable in something like this. You might want an insulated boot. Long-lasting durability was like one of the biggest reasons I purchased this boot. These boots here in Canada were $469 plus applicable taxes. We have GST and PST, so I think it ended up being around 530 bucks for these boots. Money well spent, in my opinion. You know, if you're gonna invest in gear, my pro tip to you guys is to focus on finding something that's quality. Don't just buy it because you can get it on sale and it's cheap. Find something that's going to work for your application. Do the research, watch videos like this, and you know, spend the extra little bit of money, because what I've found, and I did this a lot of times, buying different pack systems, buying different fletching for my bow. I've had 3 or 4 different bows in the last 3 years. And you know, you always end up getting that item that you really wanted to get, but you couldn't justify pulling the trigger. So my advice, pull the trigger, buy what you want. Life's too short to make justifications on the things that you're going to use a lot, right? Especially when you're out in the outdoors, it's extremely important to be comfortable and feeling secure and safe. So if you found this video helpful and you'd like to see more videos, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.